the house up to the shop now.
Okay, welcome everybody to the ARW discussion. I'm Harold, the host, and we've got the board of directors here in alphabetical order: Chuck Bomarito, Randy Richard, and Stan Zinkowski. All nice guys, but Chuck's 5% nicer than the others. And we've got some guests here. We've got Perry from the SW Dweeb channel. We got Michael from Rusty Knox, and we got Bob from Making Stuff. These guys are all talented people. That's why they got chosen and invited. And I'm sure that everybody enjoyed it. And we're going to start off with Perry because he's on the top row of my stuff here, and ask him to tell us how he got into what he's doing and tell us your life story.
My life story. Well, I'm not going to go there, but I got into metal casting, which is where my channel is now, through sort of a roundabout way. I started off. I bought a 65 Mustang that I wanted to retro mod, and I thought, well, I'm going to need to be able to make some brackets and things. So I actually kind of started off doing built a forge and trying blacksmithing out. Found I had no talent for that at all, and started seeing these videos popping up about guys melting metal, and thought that looks like fun. So that's why I kind of got into that. Along the way, I ended up having some really good mentors come along to help me out, and took me in a direction of metal casting that a lot of people are doing. I ended up sort of adhering to, following, believing in, what do you want to call it, the methods that Professor John Campbell talks about doing, his bifilm theory, and have embraced that style of metal casting completely on my channel. And my channel is years and years old. Still has not very many subscribers, but that's okay because I don't care. The focus of my channel is really me talking about things that I'm learning and trying to teach things that I've learned. So that's kind of what I'm doing and how I got here.
Okay, so we will go to Michael next. I'm going to unmute his, if I can find him here, I'll unmute his microphone. Here we go. Okay.
Yeah, it should work now. Okay. Okay, first of all, thanks, Harold, to inviting me in your life. It's an honor to be in it. Now, my life story, I think, is a bit like everyone's life story. I learned all this stuff in school, technical school, where we did machining and electricity and all this kind of things. I was lucky enough, the first, I think, 2 years, we had a teacher that had a real passion for machining and for teaching. And he's the man who told us how to cut threads on the lathe, turning in reverse, so you don't have this problem stopping at the right time against the right shoulder and all these things. For example, parting off parts in the lathe. We also did with the cutting tool upside down, which is a very good idea for chip clearance. And the cutting oil is going way better in the groove than if you cut normally. So, and I think about all my life I was making things, not only metalworking, but I was always busy making things with my hands. So I think I have a little bit of experience making things, but I almost never use the official methods that's marked in the book. If it works, it works. That's a bit my principle. Of course, if you go work for Joe Pai with this system, I think you're gonna have a really short career in his workshop. But I always manage to make it work. And that's a bit the idea behind my YouTube channel. Just go for it, make it work. Even if it's with OSB, for example, but there's always a way. You really don't need all these fantastic, expensive tools and the best brands you can find. You can make fantastic things with almost nothing. That's a bit the idea behind my channel. I don't know if that's enough for you. If there's questions, you ask questions, of course.
Oh, these other guys will ask you some questions after a while. I'm going to move over to Bob, and we're going to ask him the same thing. And I'm not going to try to. There, I've got him unmuted now.
Well, unlike Michael, I didn't learn anything in school because the schools that I went to didn't teach any type of hands-on training like machine shop or woodworking or anything like that. I had to figure out everything on my own. And I guess I started out with the old air-cooled Volkswagens. I had 4 of those. I had 3 of the Beetles and 1 Carmen Ghia. And that's where I started. That's how I learned how to weld, was tinkering with those old cars. And I guess from there, I got into computers. And that's what I do now. I'm a computer software developer. And from computers, I got into horses. And for a while, I shot CMSA, that's cowboy mounted shooting. That's where you ride a horse and you dress up in pre-1900 clothing and you shoot blanks at balloons. And it was lots of fun until I got old, my horse got old, my truck got old, my trailer got old, and it just wasn't worth replacing the things I could replace to get back into that. And I just slowly got out of that. Also, my wife started having back problems, and the doctor told her she had no business ever riding a horse again. So we got rid of the horses about the same time I started my YouTube channel. If you look on the YouTube channel, I think some of my first videos had to do with stuff around the farm and the animals and stuff like that. And basically, I just started the YouTube channel because I live out in the middle of nowhere in Tennessee, and I just wanted to share the stuff I was working on and maybe interact with, other people that were into the same stuff that I like to do. And it's just a big hodgepodge of stuff. Nothing, I don't specialize in one thing like metalworking or woodworking. I like all of that type stuff, just making stuff. That's why I call the channel Making Stuff.
Well, yeah, I came across Bob when I was building the CNC plasma cutter, looking for people that were using a torch height control, and he was one of them, and he was actually willing to help, so that helped a whole lot too. All right, if you guys want to talk and ask questions, unmute your mic and talk to the man.
Whereabouts in Tennessee?
I'm about halfway between Nashville and Huntsville, Alabama, right on I-65.
Okay.
So about an hour from Nashville and an hour from Huntsville, just like right halfway.
I'm in Knoxville.
Okay. Billy's
into making things. He runs a makerspace there in Knoxville.
Well, I'm part of it.
I was just there last week. We went through Knoxville. We visited some friends in Bristol and then went to Pigeon Forge right before you couldn't buy any gasoline around here, so we lucked out.
Fortunately, gas is not a problem here.
You don't want to buy gas here. It's so expensive.
Well, you can't here. It doesn't matter what the price is. Half the stations don't have it because of the pipeline issue.
Yeah.
We got lots of gas here in Texas, but you guys got to open up the pipe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I've watched quite a few of your videos, Bob. It's been a few years. So it's been a few years since I've seen some, but yeah, actually, when I first started watching the YouTube, I was watching a bunch of yours.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
This is from Michael. we have a saying around here that we've done so much with so little for so long that now we can accomplish anything with nothing.
I believe that.
I think indeed that's the idea behind it. You don't need anything to make something beautiful. It's perfectly possible. All you have to do is think a bit about it, use your imagination, and go for it. That's all.
Actually, Michael, the steam engine you built that with the valve bonnet was just absolutely perfect, and the engine crank and stuff. I thought that was great. I wish I had an old valve bonnet for the ships. We used to have all sorts of them.
I can send you one. I still have a small one like this. No problem. That's a little bit stressful because this engine is still not finished. Today I was working on the pistons and I had a gigantic failure on it, so I have to start again. But don't worry, I will put it in the video. I am not afraid to show my screw-ups. I don't have a problem with that. So I started on the base and the cylinders and the flywheel, and I posted the video. And now I have to figure out how I'm gonna do the rest. But I will come up with something. It's gonna work. I'm sure. Just go for it. That's all.
Oh no! I mean, the valve, the hand wheel, and the bonnet thing. It was just like that's a great idea. It was perfect.
And it's all I have from scrap metal. I don't have really much, so I have to do with what I have because with my health problems, I don't come out. Excuse me, for more than 1 year now. So it's very limited in things I can use because I don't have a big scrap pile in my yard. Don't have the permit for it. Yes, but we need a permit because here in the region we live in a sort of natural park. It's a natural reserve. So everything that could make even a little bit pollution, you need a permission for it. For example, in automotive work, the body work for spray painting, you need a permit. And nobody's gonna give you this one. so sometimes you see a car and then there's body work. It's been done, and then that was not really official body work, of course, because we don't receive the permits for it. We cannot build a shed in the garden. We never have the permit for it. It's not allowed. We are natural guys, even if we don't want to. It's not always easy, but with a little imagination, we always fix something. So it's not really a problem.
Well, I know, but you do so much with that little shaper. That's pretty good. You get a lot done with that little thing. You and Mr. Pete would be together on that.
A few videos ago, we were a bit together because I did a video on remaking the Mr. Pete's hammer.
Oh, and,
He commented on my video, so I am proud of it, of course, that the big Mr. Pete watches my videos. I think it's a good thing. I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
But a shaper, I think, is almost unlimited. It's just like a drilling, like a milling machine. You can do everything on a milling machine. You can make slots on a milling machine. It's maybe not the official way to do it, but it's possible. So on a shaper, if you use a bit of imagination, you can do a lot. The only thing that is not really possible is making, how you say that, pockets. That's not really possible. But about that, you can do whatever. Making gears on the shaper, absolutely not a problem. For me, it's a problem because I don't have a dividing head, but it's perfectly possible to make fantastic gears on little and big shapers.
Michael's got a question here. Where did you come up with that name for your channel, Rusty Knox?
That's comes a little bit of my son. My son, he had a small YouTube channel, and his name was AOX. And I thought it sounds good, but it doesn't mean anything. So I came up with Rusty Knox. Now the idea is, of course, the rust, metal can rust. And here we say inox for stainless steel. So rusting stainless steel, that's my channel name. That's the paradox. That's all.
I'd have never figured that out in 100 years.
No, not even close.
No, I understand because in the States, everyone talks about stainless steel. And here is inox or inoxydable en français. And then it's easier to... But indeed, until now, no one figured out for himself. I think people look too far, search too far. It's just behind our nose. That's all. Don't think too hard, and you will be okay.
Corey, us rednecks aren't known for thinking.
I got a question for everybody. How many here on this channel right now are in the IT field? I have been in the IT field.
No, absolutely not.
No, it amazes me how many IT guys are actually get into machining. I've known quite a few now.
Yeah,
there is a lot.
And programming, I should say programming too.
Yeah.
I did process control computers when the last job I had, but that's not IT. That was, in industrial computers. And
you should have raised your hand. It still counts.
No, I don't know.
Oh.
I didn't go into anybody's office and rip out their router or nothing. So.
No, but you still messed with computers. That's what I was getting at.
Oh yeah. All your refineries and chemical plants are computer controlled. Ours was
The pipelines.
Yeah, pipelines.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I worked with computers and like Harold, industrial controls and things like that. But that I could be doing that 1 minute, and then the next minute I got wrenches in my hand. So it is a little bit of everything there.
Yeah. Yep.
Well,
automation.
Yep.
Yeah.
I had Frank Ward had given me a question to ask you guys, and I almost forgot what it was while I was sitting here, but it finally came back. As to what tool you made that was the most useful or most productive. Anybody have any? I'm going to tell you what mine was. I built the Jeremy Schmidt belt grinder, and that's been the best tool I've ever had in the shop. I know I use it all the time.
Mine would be the horizontal bandsaw conversion from the Harbor Freight handheld, the Portaband. I turned that into like a chop saw, and I use that. I mean, any video that I'm making where I'm cutting metal, that's in there, and that's hands down. I use it several times a week. I mean, it just.
Yeah, I made a little vertical stand for my Portaband, and I use that every day. It seems like so.
Yeah, I made one of those too.
That's. I use it all the time.
For me, it's absolutely sure is the belt sanders I made.
Yeah.
Every day, several times a day, I use these belt sanders, and I brought a little example. I don't know if it shows enough on camera. This is one of the bearing studs things. I don't know how you call them for my beam engine I'm working on. And to make this round, there's no one machine that can beat the belt sander.
Absolutely.
And on the other one, there's no table on it. And I always use absolutely worn out belts. they feel a bit like paper, to have a beautiful finish on the parts. Now this is already starting to rust. So if you have a surface like this one, where precision is not important, or this one, how to cut the burrs off, an old belt that doesn't cut anymore, that's ideal. I hope that answers a bit the question.
Dean just made Dean from the Air Cave made a comment about a travel dial on the lathe. You know, and I made the digital one for my lathe, and I use it every single time I use my lathe. Yeah, on the way for the carriage travel. You know,
I made a adapter for the tailstock to use with a caliper.
Yeah,
I like that. I've not made too many tools though. I'm still.
I think mine would have to be my square column drill press. I made it before I had a mill, and I put an XY table on it, and also homemade, and I use it constantly. I much prefer it over the mill, actually.
That's pretty good. It's a real solid being square column. That's a good idea.
Yeah, it's behind me there. I don't know if you can see it or not.
Yeah.
It's got a 4x4 square column on it.
Yeah.
It's got a Harbor Freight drill on it for a lift.
Oh.
I got the vise permanently mounted on it. If I want to use it freehand or whatever without clamping, I stick that in the vise. Kind of gives me a table that's easy to clamp to.
Yeah.
I like Pragmatic Lee's solution he just posted up for his drill press, that platform for his drill press table. That was a pretty neat setup.
We're good.
Yeah, he's pretty imaginative.
What did he use?
He's got a 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch steel plate, 12 by 12, with little feet that he's got that sits on the bottom of his drill press, keyed in. His table's not movable; the head's only movable, so he didn't want to be pecking into the base of it. So that's what he did.
Oh, there's several people that sell drill presses with an XY table on it with a round column. That always kind of blew my mind. You know, kind of defeats the purpose of your XY table in a way.
I don't want to put one on the drill press at the space because somebody will try to use it as a milling machine.
Yeah.
And that's just not a good idea.
I've done some wood like that.
How about you, Chuck?
It's the Portaband. It's one of the most, when I made the vertical stand, it's one of the most useful tools. Put a foot pedal on it, so I don't even have to touch anything to use it. It's probably one of the best tools that most useful.
That foot pedal's a good idea.
Yeah,
I have a foot pedal on mine too. Yeah, that's the way to do it. It's the way.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can switch my camera.
I got my foot pedal from Tom Lipton. I had to fix it, of course.
So what's the foot pedal do? Raise it up? Or?
No, just
turns it on.
Just turns it on.
Just turns it on.
Just turn it on.
I wanted to show you this, guys. This is what I was playing with today.
I had one of those also. I got a
Where is it?
cheap horizontal one now.
Is that coming through? So
Yeah.
So that is that guy right there.
Is that a clear internal thread?
It's a double start thread. My first attempt at it. So
Okay.
I don't know if that's correct or not. We can see inside, and you can see the double threads there. I gotta make the mail now to see if it works. But it's interesting doing it in the clear that you can see through it. And see it. So that was me playing around this morning.
So hey, Chuck.
Yeah.
I watched one of your videos and you made me go buy this little thing here.
But wait, I can't see it. Hang on a second.
Okay, we'll get back to where you can see.
Oh, you got one of those? Yeah.
Yeah, I got this though off of Amazon for $14.
Oh, the one at Banggood's 20.
Exactly.
Yes.
And I got it in 2 days. I didn't have to wait 6 weeks.
Nice.
Get a magnifier.
Oh, yeah, it's a magnifier. The other thing is they make two different versions. This one's lithium ion with a USB chargeable, and it's a little bit lighter.
Nice. Yeah, mine takes 3 AAAs. So
Yeah.
That's a
So
nice.
is it digital?
It's got a little light in it, and it's got a set of lenses on it. My mashup video has a quick review of it. I'll put that out next Monday, not this coming Monday.
Cool.
How about you, Stan?
Well, I've made a few tools. I can't say which one I really use the most. I've got a little plasma cutter compass that I made for cutting out circles. I use that all the time. It's adjustable, quick to set up. It's cheap to build, but I use it constantly. And then I spent a bunch of time building a sheet metal bead roller that fits on my pipe threader. As you know, my pipe, an electric pipe threader, a rigid, has got tons of torque. So I built a little gear setup and with some changeable bead rollers, and I can do sheet metal bead rolling by stepping on the foot pedal of the pipe threader and just kind of working the sheet metal through there. And I use that quite a bit. I've been playing with it lately, just doing some artsy fartsy stuff. And just, I don't know, most of my stuff's sheet metal tools that I made myself.
Hey, do you have a video on the bead roller?
No.
No.
Sure
like
sounds
that.
like a handy tool.
Yeah, I've needed one of those before. I'd like to see that.
Well, if you've got a pipe threader already, that's a pretty big expense. Mine's a 535, but I think a little rigid 300 is a pretty obtainable machine, not too expensive. The ones on a tri stand, that sit on like a tripod that fold up.
Yeah.
And those have the same gear reduction and same motor in them that the bigger 535 has. It just doesn't have the oil bath and the coolant recirculation.
I'd like to pick up just a set of manual pipe threaders for the space, because there's a lot of makers that like to make the cast iron furniture and shelving and stuff like that. That's real handy if we put that down at the blacksmith shop.
Hand threaders, the ratchet type.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, those are the Armstrong threaders. You're gonna get strong arms from using that.
Well, the other ones are pretty spendy compared.
Yeah.
Well, Rigid actually makes a handheld power one.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
If you got your pipe clamped up correctly,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
it'll pick up a 300-pound man and toss him right over the top.
That sure will. I've never heard of anybody using a pipe machine for something else, though.
Well, hey, you know what else?
I've never
what else I did?
I've seen that.
Well, it's got a good gear reduction. I've got a capstan.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
I've got a capstan that goes on it, and we parked the pipe threader over a hole that's got a conduit going down in it with a rope in it. And I pulled in over 400 feet of MCM 500 cable.
Oh, yeah.
And that thing's just had tons of grunt. It was pulling on that rope, and we just pulled the cable in without a problem. Usually I go out and rent a tug, but we had the machine there, and I made a quick capstan out of an old wheel, a 13-inch wheel, and hung it out over the end of the machine and parked the machine over the hole, and it just pulled that wire right in.
Oh, yeah.
Just wrapped the rope around that wheel a couple times, hold a little tension on it, and start it up.
Now,
Which one of you guys are going to make a personnel ascender unit out of one of these things?
I don't know whether I'd want to trust that, to hold up people. We were just pulling some wire in. If the rope breaks, the rope breaks, But nobody's life depended on it.
Yeah. We had almost all of our ships had a power one. We used to use them all the time.
A tug.
Power rigid pipe threading machine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're pretty versatile. You know,
We
I
use them all the time.
I got a nipple chuck for it, so I
Yeah.
can actually make little close
Oh, yeah.
nipples now with it, and it's a pretty versatile machine.
No, we used to make stuff all the time. Yeah.
How about you, Everett?
I would suppose that as far as the little pieces and bits and whatever I've made for, hand tools and whatever, and my power tools and stuff, the one that probably I use the most, and well, still use now because a good number of the jigs went with my milling machine when I sold this to my buddy Eldon, but is I have a little indicator holder that goes on the bed. I'm still a little on the cheap side for buying a DRO yet because I'm waiting for a couple other things. And so I find that's been the handiest thing, especially because I can't really trust the dial on the carriage on that thing. I'm even finding that the lead screws on some of these, well, my machine in particular, I think they're rounded off to 25.4 or 25. And so sometimes things are just a little bit off. So I really appreciate that when I'm having to do up to a shoulder or, sort of features on a face that I want to make sure are the right length. So I would have to say that'd be my primarily, most used favorite now tool. I miss my drill truck tap handle that went with my milling machine to my buddy because it didn't fit my new Bridgeport clone. So I'm gonna have to make another one of those, making another indicator holder and stuff like that. But it's little jigs like that I find I use the most.
I'm kind of surprised you didn't say your fuel injector puller.
Oh, I've got to make a few of those now. But yeah, I was very surprised to see that the knurling on that commercial tool just went flat. Would not bite into that stainless cup at all, but whatever. We got the job done. So, ironically, that was about 5 months ago. I'm finally getting the video out now. It's just life's been crazy.
Well, I really was impressed with that. Perry, how about you?
Well, probably my most elaborate tool has been my furnace, and I spent a long time building a nice furnace for melting metal in. But I use tools like this, a ramming tool that I cast, little strike. Cast it with teeth on it. I use that kind of stuff all the time. Been making printed 3D tools I got this one going right now. That's going to be a wrapping tool for knocking things out of the mold. So I make a lot of my tools for casting.
Do you do cast iron stuff too? Well, I just asked that.
That's the walk of shame for me. I have not yet achieved cast iron.
Yeah.
I've been working with, if you guys are familiar with Clark Eastern.
Clark. Yeah.
Yeah. And Clark and I have talked a number of times, and I just converted my furnace to being a diesel burner. And I built that. But I'm just not getting the heat that I need. I can melt cast iron, but I haven't been able to get it hot enough for it.
Yeah.
I'll do bronze, I'll do copper, I haven't. Yeah, that's kind of the thing hanging over my head, cast iron. I really want it.
I was talking to Clark Easterling the other day myself. He seems like a nice guy. He's a great guy. He's got a sister in Texas, and he said he'll stop by and see me next time he goes to visit her. So I'm looking forward to that.
I spoke with him not too long ago. We hadn't talked all that often, but he was like, "Yeah, just come out. You come out here. You can stay at the house with us." I was like, "You didn't even know me." And it seems like he's just very helpful and very willing to spend time with you. And
as friendly as he is, I thought he must be from Texas.
Mississippi, right?
Yeah. Maybe they're trying to rival us on being good hosts. Let's see. There was something. Oh, yeah. We need to hear about the bash. You think you can tell us about it, Stan?
You're muted.
Where's his mic back on?
Yeah. Let me see if I can find it.
I was just getting my paper from yesterday. I can announce a couple of these things. American Rotary for our raffle They're doing a special edition phase converter, neon green. It'll be badged Summer Bash 2021. Also on their website, they're giving away a trip, all expenses paid, to American Rotary, where you can go tour their plant. You can go to the Harley Davidson Museum. They're going to take you there. And then they're going to take you out and show you the nightlife around American Rotary. And Chris is kind of an animal anyways when it comes to beer drinking and partying. So you're in good company there. Hope you're a beer drinker if you win. So that's American Rotary. Next up, we have Lincoln Electric. I just got the official word the other day that they are sending the welding station that they use for the trade shows and stuff, where you can actually go in, sit down, and do some hands-on TIG welding. So they sent us the welding table and the welding screens and the machine and all the stuff to do hands-on TIG welding. And there'll be tutorials here with Jim Bollinger on that. What else did I do? Oh, I needed to remind you guys, we're doing a creator giveaway. And Harold, thank you, by the way, for sending that swag over for the creator giveaway. Where all the YouTubers are getting together and just whatever you've got for your channel, stickers, hats, shirts, whatever you've got. If you want to donate them, we're putting together a deluxe package for one of the raffle winners with all the stickers and swag from all the various channels. You know, maybe sign your shirt or sign a hat or something, and just something for them to remember you by. So we are giving away one of those. So any creators out there that want to send the stuff, shoot me an email and I'll get you my mailing address. And last up was Dennis Nolan. I actually talked to Dennis Nolan, and in 2020, Niagara Tool had no budget for trade shows and things like that. Zero budget. 2021 doesn't look much better, but he's trying to get us some stuff out here for this year. So that's the end of Summer Bash. I've still got places if you want to attend. You know, if you want to come to Southern California in June, send an email to summerbash@barzindustrial.com.
And for you guys that are viewing this after the broadcast is over, there should be a link down below the video for you to buy raffle tickets and sign up for the bash. I'm trying to put that underneath all my videos now, at least up until the bash.
Okay, appreciate that, Harold.
No problem. It's wasting space down there, fella. Use it for something.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I guess we'll sort of have a little free-for-all here, and you guys can bring up whatever's on your mind. All right, I'll bring up something.
We all have blank minds.
Every time I make a comment on somebody's channel, I get 2 or 3 replies saying you can watch this on FlixZone or FlixWorks or something.
Yeah.
Are you guys getting that?
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of those.
I report every one of them, but they just keep coming. There's always 2 or 3 of them on a comment I leave on somebody's channel.
Yeah, I've been reporting them all too.
Yeah.
What is it now that you get like a little 2 or 3 second clip or something and a link somewhere else?
No, it's a comment.
I understand they're scammers.
They're scamming, yeah. I just delete the comments.
Yeah,
I leave them. I figure it's a comment. You know, that's good for SEO on YouTube. You know, you get more comments.
Yeah.
It used to
Is
be.
it okay if I answer a question from Steve? Stevie asked me in the chat if I can go back to work one of these days. In fact, now I'm home not only home, also hospital for about 1 year. And I'm still at home at least till the end of October. So maybe I can go back to work 1st November, maybe. Today I worked, I think 2 hours in my little workshop down there, and I was cooked, finished, game over. I had to come up here and sit and watch your YouTube videos. because for the moment I'm not able to go back to work. It's especially with my job, it's too much. If you have a sitting down job, maybe a few hours a day could be possible. Work on a barge day and night all week, it's not possible yet. I hope one day I will, but I don't know. Everyone says I should change job, do something easier, less physic, but that's an easy one to say, but not to do, because who wants someone with physical problems in his workshop? I don't know. You see, that's a bit the problem. Stephen, I hope that answers your question.
Perry, you were doing some anodizing. Are you going to keep on with that?
Yeah, I tried to do some anodizing. I actually gave the thing away. I was going to show it off. But,
Yeah, I tried it too. It's not easy.
with cast metal, from what I understand, with cast metal, it's really difficult. From what I'm hearing, it's because of the silicon that's in the metal and the alloys. I had a number of comments on the video I just did about trying to anodize, and people from, well, you cooked it too long, or you created too thick of an oxidation layer, or I think people were like me, they were just guessing what happened. But the nearest thing I can tell is it's the alloy, and I haven't tried it with a different alloy to see if it would make a difference. But yeah, I did it. I used bisodium. What did I use? Sodium bisulfate. That's what the stuff is called. As the liquid that I dunked everything in and ran the electricity through, and it put a coating on. It really put a coating on, and it looked really cool, but it wasn't what I would call anodizing. I mean,
I've been tempted with that, but all the chemicals, I don't have a lot of room. I don't know what the heck I'd do with all the chemicals,
Yeah, I ended up buying a bag. It was, so big, a bag. I bought it at Walmart. It's in their pool supply. It's a pH lower is what it is. It says sodium bisulfate right on the label. And I made it up in a 5-gallon bucket, put a lid on it so it doesn't get, the gas doesn't get out and just eat everything in my garage out. But it really was, the whole space is, the whole space is like that big around, 5-gallon bucket size, so not a ton of space. But again, if you're doing cast aluminum, so I don't know if you guys know, I assume you know Mark Pressling as well. Mark's down in Australia, and he does a lot of machining. He just rebuilt a Bridgeport that he bought and things. And Mark and I talked quite a bit about it because he has anodized metal and been successful at it, but it's all machine grade. It's not casting. It's something that's been extruded, and it's just a different alloy. So he's had really good success with that. He tried to anodize a casting he made, and had very similar results to what I had.
Well, from what I saw on the camera, or like on my screen, it almost looked like sort of a darker gray pewter type color. I thought the color was cool from what I saw.
Yeah, too. I thought it was really cool looking too, but it wasn't what I was hoping to be able to dye it. And
I thought it was a nice effect, actually.
I want to set up a station there at the blacksmith building and try my hand at it, but we ain't got there yet.
I've done quite a bit, and I don't think I've ever had a failure at it. I've done a lot of machined parts. I've done a few casting AR lowers that were machined cast, but they still had casting surface to them. I mean, they're very fine grade. I mean, really good casting, and all came out very good. But I use sulfuric acid. You use a 10% mixture of sulfuric acid, and just buy battery acid and make a 10% mixture. And I've had great results, just fantastic. Different, and didn't dye it, different colors. you know. Yeah, but I think the silicone and the surface finish has to be really good. I mean, it's got to be you really want it smooth. You want it polished, clean. I mean, because of what anodizing does, I mean, because of the etching of what the sulfuric acid is going to do to it and form, it's forming a rough surface is what it's doing. It's etching the surface, and that's where the oxidation is forming. So now, if you're going to try to hard anodize, it's another story because hard anodizing is a lot harder to do. Because you got to have a good power supply to do it. Nice clean power, and then you dye it, of course, afterwards. And the oxidation is what absorbs dye. But there's a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of information out there that can really help you with it. I mean,
I use sulfuric acid and got that same kind of pewter look.
Yeah, well, that's what color the aluminum oxidation is.
But it wouldn't take the dye. It looked kind of like a brushed metal almost. And
it wouldn't take the dye.
Wouldn't take the dye.
Yeah, well, you probably went a little too long and stuff.
I was looking at some pieces left over, but I can't find any. I was going to show you guys what it looked like.
Yeah.
I don't have mine.
But I've had great results with it.
Well, someone told me about going to the auto store and buying battery acid after the fact, and I thought, well, that's something I could try. Of course, I've got 5 gallons of insanely caustic solution sitting in my garage I got to get rid of. But
just pour it down the drain.
Yeah, I know. Well, I got a septic system. I don't want to do that. But it could be someone else's problem, maybe. Or out in the yard.
Yeah, pour it down the drain, it'll dilute.
Yeah,
one thing that I found very critical is temperature control of the acid while you're doing the anodizing process, of the oxidation. Maintaining good temperature control is a key thing.
So someone mentioned that to me as well, and thought, well, maybe my metal was getting too hot.
Yeah, I actually have a cooling water coil inside I use a 5-gallon bucket, and I have a stainless steel cooling water coil, just some tubing I made into a coil around the inside of the bucket, around the perimeter, and I just run water through it. But I have a temperature probe in it, a digital remote temperature probe I stick in there, and maintain it at 70 degrees, and just within a probably with less than 5 degrees. It's pretty easy to control. And
it's not going to 120 or something.
No.
Right, it's staying down around 70.
Yeah, and it works. I mean, it's easy to do. Just adjust a little. I just use a really small valve so I can really meter the water. But once I get it set, it stays good. And,
yeah, I thought about it, and I don't know, maybe Bob has tried this, but I've tried. I'm thinking maybe trying different times because I was in for close to an hour, and I had been told to go 2 hours. But I'm thinking maybe less time would be less oxidation when they're built up.
I'll find a spreadsheet, and I tell you what, send me an email, and I'll send you a spreadsheet. And that spreadsheet, it's about surface area, and you should calculate how much surface area you have of your part if you can, and that is going to tell you how much time you have to do.
Well, my parts are the things I'm doing. Yeah. They're all basically the same size. And you got some surface on it, but it's just a nice rectangular tube.
Yeah, but it's all about surface. How much surface area will tell you how much time and how much current you need to pump in. So, but there's a spreadsheet. I got the spreadsheet online, but it helps you figure out this.
Okay.
Okay, guys, Drew Bradley's got a question about the AccuLink adjustable V-belt systems. Anybody got one? Got some experience with it?
Nope.
What is it?
Are those like the finner? Are those like the finner belts? The quick links?
The quick ones that go together.
Yeah,
the leather ones.
they
The leather
isolate
ones?
they isolate vibration
Yeah.
and they go around small shivs very nicely.
Yeah.
I
Most
know I'm
people
gonna
like
buy
them.
some.
Most people really like them.
I carry them in the work truck all the time because you can
Yeah.
roll up to a job and make your own belt right there on the spot.
Yeah.
I'm
I don't use
going to
any,
buy
but
some.
yeah.
My
Yeah.
lathe belts have been on there since the 1970s, and they're getting really ready. I don't want to take the spindle apart.
Now we were talking about, you guys were talking about cast iron a little while ago. Do you have any interest in making a rig to do cast iron?
Me?
Yes.
I would love to. I've been trying to convert my furnace over to doing cast iron for months now.
Now, have I got a deal for you? Let me tell you what I got.
You're going to have to fix it.
No, you're
I've been
not
doing
going
nothing but fixing on mine as it is. So
I don't know whether you're familiar with what a power flame is. I've got a power flame burner. It's 1,000,000 BTU. It's got a 3-to-1 turn down ratio. It's a premix burner, and it's a low NOx unit that was approved for the state of California. It's a 1-state burner, and we got it here and we installed it and we ran it for about 3 months. And this laboratory came over and did the NOx testing on it, and it did not pass the low NOx emissions, so we had to pull it out. So basically, it's just scrap iron, but it's a nice burner. It fires nice. Like I said, at full fire, it's going to do about 1,000,000 BTU, and with a 3-to-1 turn down ratio, it's going to get you right around 300,000 BTU. So you'll be variable anywhere between 300K and 1,000,000.
Wow.
If you need that kind of power, it'll run on propane and natural gas. It's got a Honeywell burner control. It's a nice unit, and believe me, you can have it cheap, like free.
Well, you can't beat a price like that.
Everybody likes free.
I'm working on a foundry for the blacksmith building. We want to do some aluminum and eventually do some cast iron too at some point. But it may be too dangerous for us to try to attempt that.
This would be it would fire a big crucible. I mean, 1,000,000 BTU, it spits out a flame about 8-inch round, 2 feet long. That full fire.
Dang.
It's no joke. It works like a turbocharger on a car. It's got a little electric motor, and then the gas spits into the turbine, and it mixes the fuel and air together and spits a flame out into the duct.
Forced air. Forced
Yep.
primary air.
yeah.
Yeah.
They were using it in a direct fired oven.
Yeah.
The airstream passes through the flame.
And my design for this foundry I'm working on, so it's based on a squat 35-gallon drum, about a 12-inch diameter area that you can put your crucible down into. 4-inch wall thickness with matting stuff.
That's pretty close to my furnace size. 12-inch opening. It's got 3-inch walls on it.
What temperature do you have to get to melt cast iron in? What are you talking about?
26,
29.
2800.
20.
Yeah, you got to get the pouring temp. It's probably closer to 2,900. Pouring
Yeah,
temp.
2,900. Yeah.
It's got to be really hot.
You'd have a hard time
It's
getting
hot.
there with propane. You won't get there with propane, but yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I went to a diesel is I could get hotter. I'm just not getting enough fuel and air in my furnace right now. That's just all it really comes down to. I'm not getting enough in there.
Well, even if I did get, the one I've got designed, even if we did get it up to that temperature, it'd probably start melting because I don't think the refractory in there could handle that temperature. I think it's good for 24 or 2600.
Yeah, I used 3,200 degree refractory in mine. But yeah,
we ain't built it yet, so I may need to get with you and find out what refractory you were using. Get it on order.
I bought mine from already made back in the 70s, and it came with a warning that it couldn't melt anything like cast iron because the refractory wasn't the right kind.
Yeah.
So
I've melted refractory. I've melted the 2300, 2400 degree stuff. I'm trying to melt cast iron the first time.
Are you using the alumina or the zirconia?
For the refractory,
Yes.
I don't actually know what was in it. I mean, I bought a tub of this stuff, and, I know that I got the iron. I actually poured it out of the crucible using propane, but it wasn't hot enough to really truly pour. But I did have the refractory actually melted inside the furnace and kind of like it running down the sides.
Right. There's three grades of the refractory. There's ceramic, alumina, and zirconia. Zirconia is the most expensive, and it's the highest temperature.
I know we had a lot of refractory work when I worked in the refinery. I was part of the time at a sulfur plant, and you burn hydrogen sulfide in a big burner to turn it into sulfur. And I know that the refractory they used there was taking like the normal temperature, there's like 2,600, 2,700 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
So it had to be some good stuff.
Yep.
No, that's all we used in the boilers was the zirconia stuff.
Now, well, that was the Navy, right? They could afford it.
No, they're commercial ships, but
okay.
I worked for Exxon, but the commercial ships, but 150,000 BT. 150,000 pound per hour steam boilers, power boilers. Oh yeah. Let me tell you,
that's some heat.
That's got to last.
Let me tell you,
well, I mean, refractory
big boilers.
Refractory you chisel away at it over the years. If you fire into it over and over and over, it just chisels away at it slowly. Yeah. So the best stuff you can get, if you're going to really work it hard, buy the best money can buy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, here's what I found. Okay, so the Castelite that I was looking at, that's good for 3,000 degrees. And the ceramic blanket, which is zirconia grade, is good for 2,600.
The ceramic blanket, like kale wool kind of stuff.
Yeah, that was 2 inch thick.
Yeah, mine is the way I built mine is I put the kale wool in around the outside, and then inside of that I built a wall of refractory.
Yeah, that was the plan.
Castable.
Yeah.
I'd
have to go out in the garage and I've got a bag of it still out there. See what
there's some coatings you can put on your refractory to make it a little more durable. I've got some here.
Yeah.
I used a stuff called Frank Coat.
There's some stuff that guys use in forges all the time, and to protect from the flux, because the flux is terribly corrosive, and at temperature, and that stuff works pretty good too.
Yeah, I just posted some links there in the chat with what I was looking at getting. That's the same stuff you're putting on the heat treat ovens.
Yeah,
I've been experimenting with it. This is a reflective coating, and you put it on the interior of the oven facing towards the product, and it'll reflect the heat back into the oven. This has lowered my outside temperatures by about 30 degrees on the ovens.
Yeah, that's the same stuff that's the same stuff the guys use in forges on the floor to protect from flux.
Well, this makes your refractory more durable too. It puts kind of a thin candy coating on it, so it makes the surface less soft, and it makes it more durable to bumps. And if you're firing directly into it with an open flame, it'll keep it from burning away too.
Yeah.
Hey Stan, do you put that stuff in the channels where you're running your coils too, or just on the?
No.
Okay.
I stay away from those.
Okay.
Yeah. This stuff's pretty thick. You mix it, and you can mix it a little thick, and you just paint it on with a brush. And I just keep it right on the edge of the heating element channels.
Yeah. I'm gonna take a look at what I posted there and let me know if that's gonna work for cast iron too or not. I don't have a clue yet. I know it'll work for the aluminum casting, but
yeah, aluminum turns out to be really easy when you compare it to cast iron. It was like walk in the park, right? It's easy to do.
Last time I did aluminum casting was in high school. Made a little C-clamp that I still have, and it's still in my mechanics box. I still use it, but I'd like to try again.
Now, when I was in metal shop in high school, we cast some vices, aluminum vices. And of course, the shop teacher did all the casting, and we did all the messed up machining. I don't know whatever happened to the thing. It's gone. Could have been one of Mr. Pete's for all I know.
Yeah, I still need to get a crucible to use aluminum in for that 1200 I got from Stan. I hadn't done anything with it really.
All right, folks, I appreciate y'all being here. This is the end of the broadcast. You guys that are here can stay around and shoot the bull afterwards, of course. So
Thanks for watching, everybody.
yeah, thanks for viewing, everybody.
Thanks for having me.
Next